I also personally find it important to have those real conversations with your kid. And that's what we did last night. It wasn't just play, or, oh, let's do this fun thing. We're going to go see this person in the restaurant, and let's do this, and what do you think of this, and learn, or what. That's great. But then every now and then I do like checking in on the more serious matters. Again, like having real conversations. Meaning even dropping, if you have it, the, kind of talking to your kid voice. Like tonalities can change. Parents can have completely different personalities when they talk to their kids. At times, just drop that and have a real conversation. And I like checking in, again, not over the top, because then it gets a little paranoid and thinking about it. Back to that book, Bad Therapy, read it. But I like checking in and just saying like, so, hey, and this is me personally. I check in and I ask her, I'm like, hey, so how you doing? How's life going ultimately? I know that's something for myself I wish people would ask me more often. Like, how is your life going? How you doing with life? And for it to be real. Instead of, hey, how's it going? Good. How's it going? No, none of that. And not just talking about, again, activities or tasks or problems to solve, but hey, how's life going? Do you like life in this moment? Are you struggling? It going well? What do you think? How you doing? How you doing with this crazy thing, this crazy experience that you're in? Now, I won't verbalize it per se like that. Like, how's life going? Right? Especially at that age, it's like life and death. No, but I'm like, so hey, how you doing? How you doing? Like, how you really doing? How do you feel? Like really checking in. And last night I asked her, and I really was proud of myself for asking it. And I like the fact that I asked it. I'm going to definitely do this again. But it was the first time I did. I asked her, do you have any questions for me? Just out of the blue. I'm like, hey, do you have any questions for me? Now, for any outsider who's not parents, like, well, what do you mean? It's so obvious to ask that. But no, as a parent, for me, it really wasn't. Right? Like, I'd answer any questions. I'm always asking, like, what do you think, et cetera? Sure. But I never, like, opened the door to be like, okay, do you have any questions for me? And I told her, you can ask me about anything you want in life. And I'll tell you anything. And I would just see her eyes, boom. And I feel like we hit a deeper level of connection. Now, funny enough, the first thing that she asked me is, Daddy, why do you snore? You can ask anything about life, child. Why do you snore? Now, I didn't used to snore, but I guess I do now. At least to some extent. And I told her I'd tell her everything. And what I told her, and I'm like, a part of me believes that might be the reason, by the way. When I was 16, I got hit in the nose just by boom, someone's hand. And the way it hit me, my nose just started gushing with blood. And ever since then, I'm like, well, maybe that's why. Right? Maybe there's a deviated septum or something, maybe. But anyway, I didn't go that graphic, but I shared that story. And then it's so funny how she's like, immediately after, she's like, Dad, maybe when I go to school, when I'm older, someone's going to hit me in the nose and I'll snore too like you. Side note. But then it actually, that was the first one. Then it got more serious and allowed her to open up about just general fears and concerns where she's like, well, what if you lose me? Right? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, what if I just go far away and I go further and further and further and further away? What if you lose me? And you can see like, oh, interesting. Like beyond just the fun day-to-day experience, there's these concerns. And I just found that angle was a great way to actually open the door and ultimately set the floor for that to come out, right? For her to share that. And then of course I just said like, comforted her. It's like, well, no matter how far you go, I'll always find you. And just that's enough, like that confirming like, oh, I feel safe. I'm safe, right? Even if I'm further away, even if my dad goes and travels and does an event somewhere, I am safe. I actually use this "you are safe" line in times of tension too, right? Like say, it's one of those situations where maybe you're upset. It's like, okay, hey, no, enough of that. And then they get upset. I'll tell them in those moments where there's, again, that emotion of perhaps anger, I'll say, hey, even when daddy's angry, you are still safe and I still love you. Hey, even right now, you're still safe. I still love you. So it just reinforces, like, it's not attached. It's not this conditional thing. When my parents are angry, they don't love me. When they're happy, they love me. It's like, no, you're still safe and I still love you. Okay. It's like, I love you no matter what. And she's 4. It was interesting. It actually got even deeper. And she's like, well, Dad, where was I before? No, she said, do you have pictures of Mommy when she was little like me? And I said, well, ask Mom, or you can ask Grandma, and I'm sure they have pictures. And then she takes it a level deeper, and I didn't expect it. She's like, where was I when Mommy was little like me? Where was I? Right? Where were you before you were born? And the answer that I gave her is this is going to make a joke. I opened her mind up to life and gave her the real answer about life and death, and now she's worried. No, of course not. The answer which my mother told me, and I remembered it in that moment as a kid, is, you were just a twinkle in my eye. And I really like that answer. And she paused for a second and gave me a hug, and it was like I could cry thinking about it. It was like, oh, amazing. But I like that. It's like, yeah, have those real conversations. The same with my youngest, right? She's 1.5. She'll be 2 in September. And she talks a bit, but it's not full sentence, of course. And I can fall into that tendency at times to have that baby talk where it's not a full sentence either, right? It's like, come this way. Like, you kind of simplify the talk for them to understand, which I think is helpful too, but at times break that and actually talk to them as if you talk to an adult, not topic-wise, but vibe-wise. So like, hey, so how you doing? Like full sentences and not babying it down at all. And it was surprising how much she understood. And I was like, wow, the babying it down made me project onto you that you are less mature than you actually are. So I think at times, yeah, just bringing that real authenticity into it can be quite powerful in terms of connection too.